Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks, and this is Fan Art Friday. And yeah, it is actually Friday when I'm filming this. Usually I try to film these on Thursday so I can do all the rendering and all that kind of stuff and post it on Friday, but I have been so busy. I really probably don't even have time to do this, but but you know, I'm trying to keep a schedule here. So anyway, these are some of the previous Fan Art Fridays that I've done. I've been doing Guardians of the Galaxy. If you've been following along, I got Star-Lord here, Groot, Gamora, and Drax. And so there's only one left of the major characters to do, and that is good old Rocket Raccoon. So I'm going to finish this guy up today. And yeah. So I'm just right now just getting some ink on my brush. And of course he's got the big giant gun. Where should I start? I think I'm just going to start up in here in this corner and do some of this kind of laser blast or whatever is going on here. So yeah, Rocket Raccoon was actually of the Guardians of the Galaxy because I didn't know much about it when it first started, but that is one character that I was familiar with because I used to collect the miniseries, which I don't know if that, I'm not sure if that was his first appearance. He probably appeared somewhere else before, but that's back in the 80s. There was a miniseries, and I really liked it. It was, but I don't know how popular it was back then. I mean, now obviously he's hugely popular. But back then it was kind of, a lot of, I remember a lot of my friends like, what is this? This doesn't look, this looks kind of ridiculous. But oh, I like the artwork and everything that back then that was Mike Mignola that was drawing it, and that was previous to the style that he has now, which is the real, a lot of heavy blacks and everything. I mean, obviously, if you've seen his stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But that was kind of before he found that style. But even then, I thought his work was pretty cool. And I don't know. I also collected Alpha Flight. He had a run on Alpha Flight after John Byrne left. And I really dug his stuff there too. But I think Rocket Raccoon was before that, maybe. I figured it's got to be one of his first works was the Rocket Raccoon miniseries, and I thought I had the whole series, but I guess I went to look because I was going to reread it, and looks like I only have issue 1, which I guess if you're going to have one issue, that's probably the one to have. But maybe it was a friend of mine that had the whole series, and I just read it from him, or if I had it and loaned it out. I've got so many comics like that that I've lent to people or whatever, and then things like disappear. Like I had the first like Punisher miniseries, and now I've got some of them, but I don't think I have issue 1. I know I don't have the complete series, so I don't know what the heck happened to that. And then sometimes you wonder if like you have friends that may have stolen them and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, comics are weird like that. Yeah, when I collected comics, it was like back in the 80s. It was funny because I would buy all these. It was funny because myself and my brother, we both collected comics, but for whatever reason, everything he bought like turned to gold. And it's kind of, and I say that it might be a little misleading because I don't think I don't think it really a lot of what he bought like stood the test of time. Like now it might not be worth anything, but at the time there were certain books like he'd buy certain independent books and they would just go, he'd buy them and then the next thing you know I mean this is within, a few months they would go from whatever the cover price was to like 50, $100. Like he would buy stuff like just weird off the wall stuff like Fish Police. I don't know if anyone remembers that. They actually made it like they made an animated series of it that lasted maybe a couple episodes, but it was just this little independent thing that he bought, and it just blew up. I mean, it was probably because it was independent and there weren't that many copies available. Um, but he had that, and I mean, those things were just, you know, just worth a ton. And then he, I don't know, things like what else did he buy? Ninja Turtles. They didn't have the first issue, but he had some of the earlier ones, and those went pretty big. And like there was another comic that he collected called, it wasn't Elf Quest. I think there was one called Elf Lord. Is it Elf Lord? I think. And that one was kind of the same thing. It blew up, but I don't know. I don't know if any of them are really worth anything anymore. So he probably, if he was interested in getting some money, he probably should have, sold those early on. You never know. It's weird how certain things, you know, they become popular and then there's a big market for them, and then they just after a while no one really cares anymore. And I understand that, like in the 90s, I understand that all those hugely popular comic books that everyone was trying to collect because they thought they were going to put their kids through college ended up being worthless because there were so many of them. I mean, that was, to me, that was always pretty obvious that if something sells that much, I mean, it's always the stuff that you don't expect, you know, the rare stuff, and some of those early independents, like stuff like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things like that, that are just rare to begin with that have a demand. And obviously those are still worth a ton. But yeah, it was kind of funny because my brother was into Ninja Turtles before. This was before before the television animated cartoon, and definitely before the movies and everything like that. It was just the comics at that time, back when they all had, the comic was in black and white, and they all had the red bandanas. They didn't even have different colored bandanas. Um, just gonna keep working on this gun here for now. I'll switch to Rocket in a few minutes. Um, but yeah, so there was I should go back a bit first. So when I first started collecting comics, I would just buy them off the spinner racks in 7-Elevens, which if you guys are too young to remember that, they're kind of what they sound like. They're just these racks that spin around and they've got all these comics on them, and it's all Marvel, DC stuff, maybe some Archies thrown in there. Um, but for the most part, it was just the big two. And then eventually we found well, I knew about comic book stores because a friend turned me onto it, and I went to one, but there were never really any that were really close. And then there was this bookstore that started selling comics, and it was in like bike riding distance from my house. And that was just opened up a whole new thing because that's where we got all these things like Elf Lord and Fish Police and all these, more underground comics, because they had all that stuff. It was just really cool. Um, but this bookstore, they were holding a Halloween party, and so my brother decided he was going to dress up as a Ninja Turtle, and I forgot. It might not even been one in particular. I don't remember what like weapon he had, because like I said, back then they all just had the red bandanas. Um, but it was funny because, I mean, at this, I think the owners of the store knew who he was, because this is something he made himself. They didn't make Ninja Turtles costume. It wasn't it was not a thing like it is now. I mean, um, so I think, like I said, I think the people at the store who own the stores knew what he was supposed to be, but everyone else, whether it was trick or treating or whatever, what are you, some kind of frog or something? It was just so bizarre that, a year or two later, just it blew up like that. So it's kind of cool when you discover something before the masses do. So you could say it's the same with a band or whatever. There's always that joke that, "Oh, I knew that band before they were famous," and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same with comics and nowadays with comic books being as big as they are, it's kind of like, yeah, I was into this stuff before it was cool. And I know there's people that are like, well, now it's just like everybody's into these comic book superheroes. It's not like when it's not as, you know, personal anymore to us geeks and stuff. But I don't know. I think it's a good thing because I, you know, as long as everything, I guess, doesn't get watered down and everything. But it's cool that all these people are discovering this stuff that before was like just like not cool. So I don't know. And now we get to see all these movies and stuff like that, and for better or for worse, I guess. But and all these conventions and stuff, and I'm looking at hopefully exhibiting at a new convention that's starting up called Phoenix Fan Fest that's being put on by the people that do um, Phoenix Comic Con. But it's weird because it's like a very short notice type deal. So I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to happen on December 12th, and it's like a 3-day event. But I haven't even got like any information on exhibiting or anything yet. I should be hopefully getting that soon because I guess it's invite only. But since I've exhibited at Phoenix Comic Con, I should get an invite. But it should be a cool show because right now, because I think because it's not going to be huge like Phoenix Comic Con, but there's some good things about it. One is that it is super close to me. It's about 20 minutes away. It's at the place where the Phoenix Cardinals football team plays, or Arizona Cardinals, sorry. They were Phoenix Cardinals when they first started. I don't follow sports too much. But anyway, um, but that stadium is fairly close because I live west of Phoenix, and that's kind of where that stadium is. Which everything else, most of the other teams they play kind of downtown, and downtown just sucks because the parking and all that stuff, and it costs so much and to park and all that, so it gets expensive, and you got to drive down there, and usually, um, you know, I don't have to get a hotel because I can either drive there or my girlfriend lives a little closer there than I do, and there's like a light rail station, like which is basically the equivalent of like a train, like uh, not an underground, like a above ground subway kind of train deal. Um, and so it's a little cheaper than parking. You can buy an all day pass for like $8 or something like that. So, um, so it's not too bad. But the deal with this other stadium is because it's kind of west of the central Phoenix. There's a lot of land there, so there's tons of free parking. So that's cool. So it's not gonna cost me much to exhibit, and the table space is really a really good deal. Partially because it is like a first time event, but hopefully they've got the pull to kind of do something with it. But I can only imagine it growing. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll have a whole lot of new things to sell. I always bring some of these things with me, just these original sketches and stuff, but I've got prints and stuff too. Um, but I want to try to I want to get away from doing the pop culture type stuff, which last convention I did, that was kind of the goal. But I still brought some of that stuff because unfortunately that's the stuff that sells. So I've got a lot of parodies and humorous takes on pop culture stuff. Kind of like some of the T-shirt designs and stuff you see, but I don't. They're prints and everything. So those tend to sell, but I'm trying to kind of transition to just doing my own, creator own stuff for that, which it's starting. I just got to get people to know what I'm doing and understand what I'm doing, which is this kind of mad scientist lab that deals with robots and aliens and zombies and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of retro future looking prints and propaganda type stuff. I guess you can go to circworks.com and you could see kind of what that's all about. But then, every once in a while I like to do this kind of stuff too. So he's got a lot of stuff going on in his costume here. Man, that's one thing about the movies, man. They've got to they really up the detail in these costumes. And it makes it a little more difficult to draw. All right. So yeah, because with these, I'm trying to make them wear kind of the same costumes that they are that they're wearing in the movies instead of like the comic books. Because in the comics, looks like Rocket Raccoon. Well, most of the Guardians, it looks like they're kind of wearing these. I don't know. They're kind of like Civil War style, almost like vest type shirts. I'm not sure, but a little different. So another thing is it is also um, October, and that's a busy month for me. But for whatever reason, I decided to participate in Inktober. So this will probably be one of my Inktober entries as well. I'm also working on some Star Wars bounty hunters sketches, ink sketches for Inktober. And Inktober was started by Jake Parker, who some of you guys may have heard of. He's pretty well known on the internet. Um, but what's weird is that, and this is, it's kind of in line with what I'm doing now with Rocket Raccoon, because I guess he's going to do a fill-in on Rocket Raccoon, the comic book series that I guess Scotty Young is doing, which Scotty Young has this huge following in comic book circles. But I was reading an article that was saying that Jake Parker is going to do a fill-in issue, and it was just weird the way the article was written, because it was like, well, you've probably never heard of this guy, Jake Parker. I'm like, damn, he's got, just a huge following, and and I'm a fan of his work and everything, and you know, in a lot of ways, I'm probably a bigger fan of Jake Parker than Scotty Young. I mean, at least I'm more familiar with his stuff. So I just thought it was odd that they were like, I mean, how it's just, I mean, how well known do you have to be to, I don't know. It just seems weird, because everything that I've seen with that Jake Parker posts has got like thousands of responses and likes and everything like that, and it just seemed like he was pretty well known as far as in the artist circles. But I guess comic books is a whole different thing. So I guess in that way he's relatively unknown. So, but I'm kind of anxious to see what he does with that book. I mean, I don't really collect comics, but I like his stuff, so I might go see if I can pick up that book. And I think people that aren't familiar with his work should be happy with it because he does some really cool stuff. If you aren't following his Inktober stuff, you should. But anyway, so I'm doing this Inktober deal. Uh, so far, just some Star Wars bounty hunters. After that, I'll post this as one of them, one of the drawings. But it's where you do one drawing a day. It's another challenge, You do a ink drawing one a day, or maybe it doesn't have to be a day. I don't know how it works, but um, at least 30. We want to do 31 for the month of October. 31 different ink drawings. So not exactly sure what this gun is. It's just a bunch of. It's like his fingers here, but there's the trigger lock. I didn't really think this out very much. Hopefully, it'll just kind of get camouflaged in all the other gun stuff that's here. So let me see. I doubt anyone will notice. Plus, these are for the most part, these are just quick sketches. I'm not trying to do any crazy work of art or anything. When I first was drawing this, I was like, something's missing, and I realized I hadn't drawn his little raccoon tail, so can't really forget that. My dog, I don't know if you guys can hear, my dog is out there going crazy, barking at something. I don't know what. So I could leave and try to get him to be quiet, but we'll see if he stops on his own, hopefully. Actually, I started this video. I started another one of these videos earlier, and he my dog just started going crazy barking like inside the house out at somebody walking by the street or something, and it was like I had to cut off the video and start over. So those things tend to happen when you're doing like a live recording. I guess I'm saving his face for last, which it's weird because sometimes I'll do that first. It's like I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to where I start an illustration, other than usually somewhere from the top, typically, just so I don't. If I start from the bottom, like it's more likely that I'm going to smudge something. So yeah, got the huge guns, which I may have not even made them. I probably didn't make my guns as big as a lot of people do. I mean, I guess that's kind of the joke with Rocket Raccoon is he's this little guy that has these guns that are usually bigger than him, which is kind of cool. Some people just take it to the absolute extreme where there's no possible way that this creature is going to hold up this gun that's this huge, that's like 3 times bigger than him. But I don't know. Mine's not quite that extreme. It looks like it's still somewhere in the area of probability, even though we are talking about a raccoon here. So I guess that kind of throws that theory out the window as far as reality. But all right, I guess now we can start on his head. Now I'm going to do his eyes because his fur around his eyes are black and his eyes are black too. So figure something out. But this part here is going to be the kind of the white fur. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do next. I'll probably still be doing some of the Star Wars, the Bounty Hunters, um, for next Friday. Actually, I'm going to be. That one. I'll definitely have to do early. I might even have to post it early because I might be going camping next weekend. Um, so I'm not sure. So I might have to post it on Thursday, unless there's some kind of. I don't know if YouTube has something where you can load it and then you know, it'll wait for you and it'll load it at a certain time. I doubt it, but if they do, I can do that. But I'm gonna have to bring my, if I do go camping, I'm gonna have to bring all my drawing and ink supplies with me so I can continue to do these the Inktober sketches. But I don't know if I'll be able to post it because I don't know if there'll be any I don't know if there'll be any internet or anything, but at least I can do them and then I can post them later. So next Friday Night Friday, I'm guessing will probably be one of the Star Wars bounty hunters. So I've done a few of them so far. I've done like Boba Fett and Bosk and who else? Dengar. So I got to do some other ones. So I'll probably do one. Maybe this. It's earlier on in the week, so I can post it before Friday because I want to continue doing these. I don't get a ton of views, but none of my stuff gets a ton of views yet. But I try not to get too discouraged by that because it's you realize that you gotta grow an audience. It's not gonna just magically appear right there. So that's kind of what I'm doing, slowly but surely. But there's so many other awesome artists that are doing obviously sketches and stuff like this on YouTube. So I'm trying to come up with an idea for something a little more original that I can do. I'll still be doing these, but because I do my 100 days of making comics, and I've got, as of this will be day 95 when I post, which obviously means 5 more. And I was working on another YouTube program that I was going to start after this, but may have to wait a little bit because I'm just not ready. I started working on it, and then I got super busy with client projects and stuff. And I always try, and every time I say that, I try to um, I be sure to say that that's a good thing because sometimes sometimes artists, myself included, tend to complain because we've got work and we can't work on our own personal projects. But having work is not a bad thing because we need it. Because before that, I was slow for almost a month and it was getting scary. So now it's starting to pick up again. I got a big game design project I'm working on, and then another thing for I don't know, it's an advertising agency or a PR firm or something like that. And then should be getting a educational comic book project coming up, which should be fun and good money. It's one that I've done. Sorry, you haven't been seeing what I'm doing, which isn't much, but so I did one of this series before, so this is going to be kind of the sequel to that. So should be cool. And my dog is going crazy again. And we got a planet down here. Block that in. Yeah, I'm having fun with the Star Wars ones, the bounty hunters. It's a little different style than I'm used to. I'm trying to play around with different, you know, body types and things like that. So something I might want to do more of. But I've been if you want to, if you're not already, if you follow me on like Instagram or I think I'm posting it everywhere, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, all that stuff. Um, or if you guys are part of the Artcasters group, that's another thing that I'm posting too. All right, got it all laid out. So now it looks like there's other stuff going on here, which I don't know what it is, but anyway, I'm gonna start filling in some of the blacks and everything. So I think anything that's by kind of where the blast is, I'm going to keep light because that blast would, I guess, would tend to make what's inside of it more transparent. So I'm going to keep that light. A lot of this stuff is going to be black here, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But anything that kind of goes outside of this black Kirby Crackle cloud that's behind him, I'm going to fill in, make darker. Here comes my dog. What he's up to. Guess he's done barking at whatever. Yeah, it's not. I'm not used to talking this early in the morning. I still gotta. I forgot I do have a drink here. I should take a drink because my voice is like going. Curious to see what kind of views this Rocket Raccoon does because he's definitely a lot more popular of a character than some of the other ones. So and I know there's people that follow me that watch these just to watch me drawing and everything, but I don't know if I'll get any stragglers that are just interested in um, seeing somebody draw Rocket Raccoon because he's a pretty big deal right now anyway. Right, how am I going to do this? Guess that'll work. I'm trying to get a head start on this weekend. I was up till like 1 yesterday working on client work mostly. I've got to catch up on after this, I've got to put in my 30 minutes on my comic. get back to the client work, and then before you know it, I gonna have to get my kids from school and all that stuff. But I wanna. I've got a bunch of other stuff to do too. I've got like a huge birthday party that I'm gonna do for. It's my daughter's birthday this month. My girlfriend's, my mom, my brother, cousin. We're gonna do a big party here on Sunday, so I got to start cleaning and doing all that stuff. I still got to get stuff for that. I don't know how I'm gonna do all this stuff. So, but you know, I like inking and doing this kind of stuff. It kind of just puts me at ease for a few minutes. So I don't want to cut that out. So let's see. I guess these are black here. These little straps. Same with some of these things hanging off the side here. I'm a little late on this one. I think everyone else has probably already drawn Rocket Raccoon but me. And bottom of his pants are also black. Yeah. I guess these things are black too on his shoulders. I'll fill those in. I'll have to put some stuff in, like the gun and everything. Give that. I won't color the gun in black because that's just gonna be too much. But put some shadows and stuff in there. So I wonder. I don't know if anyone, you guys, if you are artists yourselves, if you're watching this, if you guys are doing Inktober, curious what kind of stuff you guys are doing. I've seen a lot of people doing like Halloween stuff, obviously. Which if I didn't already start doing these other ones, I probably would have done that because I'm huge into Halloween. And other than drawing, I'm probably not going to participate too much in Halloween this year. I don't know if I'll dress up or anything. There may be parties to go to, but I may have to find like a costume that I've already done, which is kind of what I've been doing lately. I've been using, I've probably done Gene Simmons 3 times in the last 6 years, which I've made a pretty cool, pretty authentic Gene Simmons costume. But it's just as cool as it is. I don't know how. I'd like to do something different. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing, if anything. But yeah, if let me know like in the comment sections what you guys are working on, or if you have any ideas of what you want to see me draw next. I've had a few different requests for different things. I don't know if I'll get to those or not. We'll see. Just trying to wait for somebody to give me this awesome idea what to do. So I mean, I can always come up with my own things too, my own ideas. series like this are kind of fun where you just pick something like whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, and do those. But then it because you're doing one a week, it kind of drags on and on. It's like I'm ready to do something else now. I had a friend on Instagram that wanted asked me to do Nebula, which would be fun. I mean, she's kind of cool, but I don't know. I might need a break from Guardians right now and do something else. But yeah, this I was talking about Inktober and people doing like Halloween stuff. But I saw somebody had made like a list of like it was called Inktober and it was called what did they call it? Draw. See if I can pronounce this. Drawloween, like Halloween, but draw. And they just had like a list of every day planned out for you and your version of say a zombie, your version of say a mummy, your version of Dracula. And that sounds like that'd be pretty fun. I've seen because I love like classic Universal movies. I've seen that Kevin Cross. If you, I would say you probably know but I'm used to talking to people that are watching my 100 Days because he's the guy that started the 100 Days of Making Comics. But if you were just a Marvel fan or found this through a hashtag Rocket Raccoon, maybe you don't know his stuff, but he's like I'm always really impressed by his inking. He really is an incredible inker. But he's doing like Universal Monsters. I don't think it's Inktober, but he's just doing some sketches and stuff. And um, yeah, I always dig his versions of whatever he's drawing. But because I've done my own versions of Universal Studios monsters many times, but mine are a lot more cartoony. His are a little closer to the actual one, but they got his own flair to it. His I don't know really how to explain his inks, but they're really he does a lot of the like the feathering, and it's I mean I've seen other artists do that too, but he seems to have really mastered it. I'd like to kind of play around with doing something like that because my inks are so like kind of just thrown on here. I gotta see some of his tail there, which I guess I should color in his tail. I forget, not color in, but black. Add the blacks to his tail. See, this would be, if I was doing like Kevin Cross's technique, this is kind of where it would come into play. His fur and stuff like that, because mine. I don't know. Mine doesn't. I can't get mine to look that like his. Not that I want to copy kind of what he's doing, but it's just it's like it looks so effortless when he does it. They all come to it like an even point and stuff like that. I don't know. Guess I should practice more with that kind of stuff. Now, hopefully, the rough look of this means something. It's not perfect, but it's again these are just sketches, quick sketches, maybe a little more than quick sketches, I guess, but you know what I mean. All right, how are we on time? Getting there. Hopefully, I'll keep this. I like to keep these under an hour. And I try to keep the conversation. I guess I don't know if it's considered a conversation if it's just me, but I assume people are listening because um, I don't think anyone is like actually sitting down and watching an hour of just me draw, doing nothing else. Usually it's people that are also drawing or something like that, or they kind of got it going on in the background. That's what I do with stuff like this because I'll be drawing. Like if I'm watching, like I watch a lot of Jeff Lafferty's videos. He's I don't want to say he's a portrait artist because he does a lot more, but he does do a lot of portraits. But I mean, he's like his stuff is like to me, it's like up there, kind of in the realm of like a Drew Struzan or something, where it's just, I mean, he just does these amazing paintings that just blow me away. But I watch his videos, and he kind of keeps keeps talking and stuff. So I'll just kind of be drawing while his videos are on, and then gradually look up and see where his progress are and everything like that. So that's what I kind of try to do with these, but I'm not sure if mine how these come across. Some days are better than others. It's just today, like I said, it's kind of early. I got a ton of stuff to do, and it's more like I got to get this thing done. And if I would have done it, if I would have had time to do it yesterday, and maybe I could have been a little more awake and have a little better conversation. And it's it's funny to think, I had these that I started this 100 days thing, and now I'm up to day 95. I got to put in my 30 minutes and then do another video, and then hopefully then I got to get back to work on the paying stuff. But man, it's crazy that it's gone this far. That I can't believe that I filmed and posted a video every day for the past 100 days. I mean, not to totally pat myself on the back too much, but there's other people doing the challenge. But I think other than Kevin, I think I'm the only one that's like actually posted like every day. So that's something. There was one day where I couldn't get it up, but that was the video on YouTube, but it wasn't because I didn't film it or do it, but I was having like YouTube problems where it wouldn't load my videos. So it was like a day late, but I'm not, that was kind of out of my control. I mean, I filmed it and everything and did the work and all that stuff, but so I don't really count that as missing today. So but it's what's cool is that it's like now I've got if somebody goes to my YouTube channel and they're like, well, I don't know, should I subscribe to this guy? Does he have hold on, I gotta get a drink. uh, I gotta get a coffee maker because right now the only caffeine I have is like cola. um what was I saying? Yeah, so if somebody goes to like my YouTube page and it's like, I wonder if they should subscribe. They'll see that I've got over 100 videos on there. It's like, oh well, this might be worth it, rather than I go to some people, I'm like, I've seen some people that have like these really cool videos, but like I'm like, well, do I subscribe? I'd like to see if they do a little more, because some people jump on, they do a video or two, and then they're you never see them again. So I always like to know that people are actually committed to doing these channels before I kind of subscribe to it. But maybe that's just me. I wonder, because now that the more videos I'm subscribed, or the more channels I'm subscribing to, now on my when I go to all my subscribe lists to check them all out, there's just so many of them, and I wonder if there's a way to organize it by like, I don't know, even alphabetically would be better, because like I'll be looking for somebody. I'm sure there is. I just don't know. I mean, it's because There's got to be a way to kind of manage the people you subscribe, because I'll be looking like, oh, where's this person? And just have to scroll through all those different channels to find it. And I know, I mean, I know there's probably people that subscribe to more channels than, way more channels than me, but I'm starting to get a lot of them. And most of them are like either 100 Days of Comics guys or people in the art casters or, whatever kind of networking group or whatever community you're in. I'm just kind of doing black right now. Let's see, we're at 50 minutes. Let's see if I can get this thing done in an hour. In 10 minutes, can I fill in all these blacks? And then I'll go and put in some stars and stuff with my gel pen. And just in my head, I'm like planning out my weekend, like trying to the hour to all these different things. The other thing was that I got my friend. We're gonna, I guess, we always do like a Halloween, like it's not a party really. Sometimes it is sort of, but we usually decorate, either my house or his house. Lately, it's been at his house because he had this. I mean, his house kind of, you can make it look a little eerier because he had this huge gnarled tree in his front yard, which just blew down in the storm, which sucks because now it doesn't look like it doesn't look as cool. And also the tree blocked this what do you call it? The lamppost. So and now he's got all this light that's not good for Halloween, this bright light. So, but anyway, so we do. I usually help him with like some props and stuff, and we do all that. But he wants me to come over on Saturday. I'm like, I don't know if I have time. And originally, I was talking about taking my kids to the water park because and most people watching this are probably like, water park, but I live in Arizona, so it's still in the 90s, usually high 90s. It'll be high 90s Saturday, tomorrow. So I want, and I think it's the last weekend the water park's gonna be open, and I bought season passes, so I've already got my money's worth out of them. But I'd like to go one more time, but I don't know how crowded it's gonna be, and my daughter also has dance early in the morning. Or man, my voice is just. Um, so I was thinking of going after, or after lunch, going up there just for a little bit, but I don't know, man. It's like I don't know if I have time for all this. And that's definitely the one thing I can cut out, but it's like it's the last time to do it. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to get as much done. I stayed up, like I said, I think till like 1, because I usually typically I'll stay up till like around 12 or 1, but I'm not always like I like to wind down after a while, but I worked till pretty much 1 last night, and then I got up at 6, and where I'm at right now. So, and then I was gonna get you know, typically if I don't have my kids, if I don't have to get them off to school, which I didn't last night, um, or this morning, I'll uh, I'll go jogging, and then. But I was like, I'm gonna skip jogging and just get straight to work and get a head start on these, the my videos and all that stuff, so I can get started on the client stuff. So then tonight, hopefully, I can start cleaning my house and getting ready for parties and stuff like that. And if I sound like I'm complaining, I'm really not, because these are all world problems. I'm not, but it's like Joe Walsh said, I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. Um, but anyway, um, but yeah, so I'm curious to see, what I can get done. And then there's so many other things that are just kind of fallen by the wayside for now anyway, like my new video series I was working on a set, and it's the like, which I mean like a backdrop for this video series that I'm going to do. And that was coming along great, and it's close to being finished, but it's I just had to this is going to have to wait, because I haven't gave any definite time when I wanted to start right after my 100 days, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one after 100 days of making comics updates, just to show what's going on in my comics. They won't be a daily thing, just to keep out there putting out videos while I'm working on the new one. Um, and then I'm trying to, I was trying to get more subscribers. I wanted to get 100 by the time my um, 100 days is up. I wanted to get 100 videos up. And so I used to work for a game company, and we worked on one of the games I worked on has a pretty decent following online and everything, and some real loyal fans. And a lot of them, follow me on Facebook. I don't know if they care about other stuff that I'm doing besides that game. The game's called Miscrits. It's kind of like it's a Pokemon style fighting game, but it's like a Facebook game. And so it's got followers and stuff like that, and there's a online community. So I did like kind of a trade out sketch for um, the guy that runs it, and I asked if he could like run an ad for me, because former Miscrit artist or whatever, and try to get people to check out what I'm doing. I don't think any of those people will really be interested in the 100 days, but they might be interested in this new show that I'm going to do. So I was going to try to piggyback that and do some of these drawings of these creatures from this game, and see if, because I kind of, a lot of those people know me from that game, and I wanted to, you know, just show them, how I drew that kind of stuff, and do some videos on that. But I haven't had time to do that either. So I'll get around to it. So if you happen to follow this and you are like a Miscrit fan, I will be doing some videos. What I want to do is because when I first started off designing creatures for the game, we didn't really know what they were going to look like. So I did a lot of designs, and obviously they were rejected because we really didn't know what we were doing. Some of them were really bad anyway. But there's like fans of those rejected creatures, you know, that want to see them, and some of them, and I think there's been three. Eventually there were two that I redesigned that actually got in the game after the fact, because there was just a big fan following about these mysterious designs that never got in the game. So I did a couple of them, and then another artist that's a big fan, she did her version of one of those. So there's still a few, but I'm thinking about redesigning some of those creatures. And so if you're a Miscrit fan, I will get around to it. I just um I just haven't yet. Just like super busy. But anyway, yeah, so there's that, and there's the main thing is for the next video series that I'm going to do is it's going to be some kind of Circworks themed thing. And if you don't know what that means, if you go to my website, you kind of see it's like a mad scientist laboratory factory theme to it. So it'll be kind of along those lines. It'll probably be a drawing show, but a little different than like what I'm doing now. A little more focused, I think, or something. I don't know. But I got to do an intro for that, and there's a bunch of other stuff. I really wanted to do some really cool stuff with it. So we'll see. We'll see what I can get done. Speaking of getting done, I'm almost done with this guy here. Gonna add some stars and my signature, and we're like right at an hour right now. We just hit an hour, according to my ticking clock. So I know some of these have gone over just a little bit, but this one's pretty much right on time, I think, because I don't want to go too much over an hour, but looks like that's not going to be the case. So let me add a little more Kirby dots here. Oh man, the other thing, I was gonna do I was thinking about doing a design for my brother for his birthday, but I don't know. I don't know what he wants. He's big. He loves Yoda, but I've already done a Yoda for him, so I don't know. I don't know if I do a Yoda in a different style. I might do that. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what else he likes. There's so many. He likes so many things, but okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? What else do I want to do here? I think the ears need to pop out a little more. Yeah, like that. Oh, I'm gonna bold them out a little bit here by the. Is there anything else? Yeah, right here he's missing something there. But yeah, I think that's probably about it. So, there we go. Rocket Raccoon. Not gotta add some stars in here. I love these pins, man. They're just so easy to just drop in stars and things like that, or little white outlines. They have pretty good coverage for like small things. You can't like correct huge mistakes with them, but so much easier than having to dip the brush and everything with the white, like a pro white or something. All right. One last thing to do is sign my name. All right. I guess I'll just do it along this. All right. There is Rocket Raccoon completing the set. So let's see what we got. Star-Lord, Groot, Gamora, Drax, and Rocket. A whole set of Guardians of the Galaxies. So that was fun. Had fun with that series. So like I said, next Friday I'll probably be doing a Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and then after that I don't know. We'll see. I'm still got obviously we still got a few more weeks or Fridays in October, so I'll be doing Inktober during those. So these will be part of that. But yeah, so that's it for today. I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up. Snap out of it. All right, so you guys have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you before next Friday. I got a lot of other. Well, I won't see you, but maybe you'll see me on some other videos. But if I don't, then maybe I will see you for the next Fan Art Friday. And you guys, like I said, have a great weekend, and that is all.